All right, so we're now starting Act 2. We have the chorus, which, again, like Act 1, will introduce the act and basically give us a summary of what's going to happen. So it says, "Now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes to be his heir. That fair, for which love groaned for and would die, with tender Juliet matched, is now not fair." So it's talking about Rosalind. "Now Romeo is beloved, and loves again, alike bewitched by the charm of looks. But to his foe supposed he must complain, and she still loves sweet bait from fearful hooks. Being held a foe, he may not have access to breathe such vows as lovers used to swear. And she as much in love, her means much less, to meet her new beloved anywhere. But passion lends them power, time means to meet, tempering extremities with extreme sweet." So it talks about how they have to hide their love and they can't meet in public. So this is after the party, and Romeo is talking to his friends about how he wants to see Juliet again. So he plans to slip away from his friends and find Juliet. So they're just outside the Capulet house right now, and he says he's by himself, and he says, "Can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, dull earth, and find thy center out." So his friends come up and they want to go head out and maybe party some more, but Romeo has given them the slip. "Romeo, my cousin, Romeo, Romeo. He is wise, and on my life hath stolen him home to bed. He ran this way, and leapt this orchard wall. Call, good Mercutio." And so Mercutio makes fun of him. He's teasing him for being in love, and this is how he's trying to get his attention. "Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo, humors, madman, passion, lover, appearest thou in the likeness of a sigh? Speak but one rhyme, and I am satisfied. Cry but I, me, pronounce but love and dove. Speak to my gossip Venus one fair word, one nickname for her pure blind son and heir, young Abraham Cupid, he that shot so true when King Cophetua loved the beggar maid. He heareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosalind's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the demesnes that there adjacent lie, that in the likeness thou appear to us. Well, and if he hear thee, thou wilt anger him. Oh, this cannot anger him. 'Twould anger him to raise a spirit in his mistress's circle of some strange nature, letting it there stand till she had laid it and conjured it down. There were some spite. My invocation is fair and honest. In his mistress's name I conjure only but to raise him up. Come, he hath hid himself among these trees to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love that and best befits the dark. Well, if love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Now will he sit under a medlar tree and wish his mistress were that kind of fruit as maids call medlars when they laugh alone. O Romeo, that she were! Oh, that she were an open arse, and thou a pauper in pair! Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go? Go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him that means not to be found. So we'll see if we can get through this next scene in 10 minutes. We might have to stop early. But this is the famous balcony scene between Romeo and Juliet. She plays coy because women of that time period have to play coy. They can't appear too eager to have a boyfriend. So she tries to play coy, but she really does like him. And they arrange for marriage after meeting that evening. So Romeo has heard Mercutio, and he says, oh, he jests at scars that never felt a wound. So then there's Juliet in the balcony above. He's on their properties looking up, and he sees her. And there's a lot of metaphors. He compares her to the sun and the moon, saying that she's more beautiful than the sun and moon. So see if you can understand some of these metaphors. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. Oh, I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, and they in her head? Though the brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eye in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, and I might touch that cheek. So right now Juliet doesn't know Romeo's there. So she's talking to herself. Ay me. Oh, she speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night being over my head as is a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him when he bestrides the lazy puffing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. So when she says, wherefore are you Romeo, she's not asking, where are you? She's asking, why does your name have to be the name of my enemy? Because she knows she can't love him. Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this? 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. And what's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo doth thy name, and for that name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. So now Romeo reveals himself, and Juliet has to act all surprised. Well, she is surprised, but she has to act bashful. I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I will never will be Romeo. Oh, what man art thou that thus bescreened in night so stumblest on my counsel? By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word. Oh, my eyes have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo, and a Montague? Neither, fair maid, if either thee this dislike. How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here. With love's light wings did I overperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me. If they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more peril in thine eyes than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. I would not for the world they saw thee here. Well, I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued wanting of thy love. Well, by whose direction foundest thou out this place? By love, that first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else a maiden blush bepaint my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word, yet if thou swearest, thou mayest prove false. At lovers' perjuries, they say, Jove laughs. O gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully, Or if thou thinkest I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse, and say thee nay, so thou wilt woo. But else not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I am too fond, and therefore thou mayest think my behaviour light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more coying to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but that thou overheardest ere I was aware, my true love's passion. Therefore pardon me, and I will not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered. Lady, by yonder blessed moon I vow, that tips with silver all these fruit tree-tops. Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon that monthly changes in her circle orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. Well, what shall I swear by? Do not swear at all, or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the god of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee. Well, if my heart's dear love, well, do not swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like lightning, which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, good night. As sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast. Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? Well, what satisfaction canst thou have tonight? The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. Well, I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love? But to be frank, and give it thee again, and yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. So the nurse calls, so they have to hurry. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little, I will come again. So she heads out to please the nurse. And then Romeo says, oh, blessed, blessed night, I am afeard, being in night. This is all but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial. So another warning he has, or bad feeling about this. Then Juliet comes back. 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow, by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Madam, I come anon. But if thou meanest not well, I do beseech thee. Madam, by and by I come. To cease thy strife, and leave me to my grief, tomorrow I will send. So thrive my soul. 1,000 times good night. And then she leaves again to kind of pacify the nurse. And Romeo says, 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks. And then Juliet comes back again, and she goes, psst, Romeo, psst. Oh, for a falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse, and may not speak aloud, else I would tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine, with repetition of my Romeo. It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears. All right, so we'll stop there, and then actually you can read the rest of this scene. They talk about what time she's going to send a messenger to Romeo to figure out when they're going to get married. They're talking about marriage already, and they just met that night. So you finish off this scene and see if you can figure out what time Romeo is expecting to hear from the messenger tomorrow.